Okay, guys, I'm gonna paint you a scenario, and I want you to, if you can, put down in the comments what would you do in this situation. So, say you're on a boat, and then a wave comes and capsizes your boat over, and you lose everything. All right, you lose your cell phone, you lose your signal flares, and you're whisked off to sea with no motor for 12 miles. What would you do? In 7 seconds. Hello, everybody. So I got another one for you. I hope everybody had a good day. I know Mondays can be rough, but you made it, okay? You made it through another day. That's all that matters. So, if you're thinking to yourself, that question I asked was pretty specific, yeah, that's because that shit really happened. We got a guy, Charlie Gregory, who's fishing in a small boat until a wave came and capsized his boat. He lost everything. He was pushed out to sea for 12 miles, and he was out there for almost 2 days. Yeah, shit's wild, man.
It's the extraordinary video of a young man lost at sea on a tiny metal boat that's about to sink.
I knew I was going to die out there. It was just a matter of when.
For the first time, 25-year-old Charlie Gregory is telling his incredible story of survival. This is where you launched from?
Yes, sir.
Charlie headed out in his flimsy aluminum boat off the coast of St. Augustine, Florida at 3 in the morning.
Went out to the same spot. I always go fish right on the inside of the jetty.
Look, I understand that situations happen that we're not prepared for, and I'm sure that he was not prepared for that situation, but I'm gonna need a bigger boat than that small ass Dawson's Creek fucking boat that he was driving. All right, because I need some space.
Charlie had just anchored his boat and threw a line into these waters when a huge wave came, overturned his boat, and actually ripped it away from the anchor. Then, the receding waters of the low tide swept his boat out to sea. You'd lost your life jacket.
Yeah, after the first time that the boat flipped, I flipped the boat over, got in it. It was full of water, but I was able to crank the motor and run it for a moment, and it just died out because it was flooded. I remember just looking at the land and physically noticing how fast the land is moving away from me.
Other boats passed, but Charlie went unnoticed.
You see, now that's pretty messed up. Now I need to know the people driving those boats that just drove past this guy floating in a boat that was clearly looking like it's about to sink anytime soon, and you thought he was just chilling in the middle of the water, and you're like, oh, he looks fine. He's good. He looks fine. Pass the champagne, honey. Yo, the nerve of some people, yo, that's messed up. That's messed up.
Oh, I was just screaming at the top of my lungs, and nobody ever saw me.
Clinging to his partially submerged boat in the scorching sun, Charlie got severely sunburned. He was covered in jellyfish stings. You saw some sharks as well.
Absolutely. They just come up underneath the boat, and, they're every bit the length of my boat.
Charlie's parents, Raymond and Deborah, became worried when the afternoon came and Charlie hadn't returned home.
Around 4 o'clock, I called the Coast Guard.
A massive search was launched, but by nightfall, still no sign of Charlie.
I was trying to just reconcile the fact that I might never see my kid again.
I knew in my heart we were the parents of a deceased child.
Then, the miracle. Charlie heard the sound of the Coast Guard helicopter overhead. He waved his hands frantically, but not even they could see him.
After about watching the plane do like 20, 30 laps back and forth, they all of a sudden just make a half loop and come straight back towards me. And man, that was the craziest moment. And I was just like, oh my God. I mean, this is it. Like, I don't have to die out here.
That's right. After more than 30 hours lost at sea, Charlie was rescued. He was brought to shore where his parents were waiting on the dock.
After he was rescued, they shipped him to the hospital where he was treated for sun poisoning and dehydration. All I can say at the end of all this is that that kid was blessed because you were just floating out to sea. Nobody knew where you were. The helicopters could barely see you. You probably looked like a little speck in the middle of the ocean, just chilling. I don't know what I would do, especially when you got sharks swimming around you. Like, you ain't got nothing to defend yourself with. I'd probably cry a little bit. To be completely, I'm frank, completely honest. Yeah, I'd probably cry a little bit. You out there in the middle of the ocean, no one can hear you scream. You know, like when they say, like, you know, no one can hear you scream. Well, you're in the middle of the ocean, no one can hear you cry. All right, I'd probably be cursing up a storm, and I'd probably cry a little bit. I mean, in that situation, I think crying is a pass. Thank God that they found this kid, because I mean, being a parent, thinking that you're never gonna see your child again, I would never want to go through something like that. I'm sure none of y'all would never want to go through something like that. It's nice every now and again to see and hear a good story out here. You know, we got diseases and wars and just all this stuff going out here in this world, and it's just nice every now and again just to hear a great positive story about something that could have turned horrible and actually turned out pretty amazing in the end. Not trying to go all religious or whatnot, but yo, in that case, yo, God is good.